What if I told you that the greatest battle that has ever fought in here and passed already? Imagine two sons fighting each other, not in a physical warfare but with creative power. What if you were the son of the Most High, El Elyon, and you brought forth wonderful sons who have dominions, who control the entire universe, only for one of them to disagree in the assembly? In that disagreement, he chooses his own domain, just like the prodigal son, who believed that he wanted his own dominion to rule just like his father and to show his father that he was even more greater than him. You see, Lucifer, before the fall, thought that because of his admiration, believed in himself that, listen, I should rule just like my father, and thus he presented the matter to the father. The father, knowing in himself that what his son wanted was to demonstrate pride and ego, and thus to have a separate government from that of the Almighty, would only introduce something new. Anything new introduced by the Father would cause sickness, would cause death, because life only comes from one source, and that's the Father. Therefore, for the entire universe to be in harmony, they need to be a part of the Father. Yet this son could not see it this way. And what even made it worse, he was admired as an archangel. He was admired as one of the ministering spirit that was able to spread the good news and the characters of the Father. Only for him to try to have his own way to introduce something that was so completely different. And this was the downfall. When the council was called in heaven, and the Father assembled his sons of all quadrants, they all sat in his presence, and his own purpose is not to be biased, but to hear their causes and to allow mercy and justice to reign. And in the tribunal of heaven, when all the sons were assembled, the war began. It was a battle of words. What was so scary about this battle was that each time these sons uttered, creation took place. Imagine a son speaking and calling upon divine power, and as he spoke it, it manifested. He can call upon the power of the sun, and the sun will be created. He will call upon the power of a dark hole, and it will be created. This was the clash in heaven. It was never physical, because if it was physical, it would have been much easier. It was the battle of words. Now, for many of us, we may not fully understand, but AI has now given us a liking to what has really gone on in the heavens before. And even when Satan was cast out, he was cast out by a word. That same word was the same word that came into Satan's domain after he has been cast out, our bottomless pit that we now call hurt. It was first called a bottomless pit because he was cast to a dimension there was no light. You see, where we are now in planet Earth, with the sun being the only source of light and the moon and the star, remove those three elements, it's complete darkness. Those three elements is what transform our world into a world. Remove them and you end up with the bottomless pit. So therefore, right now we are all in the bottomless pit, preparing itself for hell and judgment. Because when the Son do come back to claim his treasure here, which are those who choose to call him Lord, he will create war again with the words. Words and word will clash, but this time his word will be sharper than a two-edged sword, meaning it will not have any hiding place to go. It will cut asunder. And so that same word, which is now called the Son of God, we all call Yahweh Jesus, we now say is the spoken word of the Father, seem to be the truest source, because the other source we cannot trust it because it leads to death, and that is Lucifer. Not his true name, but as a title given to him, because his real name has never been given. To be honest, the entire angelic body Names has not been given to no man. They have been given a title and a slogan. There's only one name has been truly given to us all, and it has power, and that is Yahweh, or Yahshua, or we otherwise call Jesus. No human knows the Father's name. No human knows Lucifer's true name. No human knows the fallen one's name. Yes, one and two of them has revealed it so that they can utter them to receive power. Knowing that when you utter their name, you're requesting their present. That is how powerful their name is. So it's like me uttering son. By just saying the word son, the sun appear. Because we go back again to that which I was saying. It was battle of words. And thus for us to receive those names is for us to receive power. And for us to receive power is for us to call upon ancient energy that we have no idea how they work. And so the greatest war took place in heaven. It was battle of words. For many of us, we think that word is powerless. It's not. If someone calls your name without hitting you, it allows you to go home and reflect how painful it is. If someone tell you I don't love you or call you worthless, it hit home than when someone backs in your face. If someone ridicule you in the workplace and go around gossip, it hurt more than they cut in your paycheck. Word is powerful, and yet we are a physical being, and it still has its effect in our dimension. So this little rant that I am here creating is just for us to understand. The greatest warfare that has ever fought in the universe was the battle of words. And it's the same that is done here on planet Earth. It's all whispers in the ears of great men. All it takes for our president and our prime minister is one lies whisper in their ears, and an entire nation can wipe out. Word is powerful. Word is life. Words are spirit. It's time for us to take it seriously and us to realize that word, that war, it still goes on. So I am just creating this video for us to just understand that this warfare that we're going on with here on this planet, if you can overcome words, if you can walk on water, you will be safe. If you can allow persons to speak truth, allow them to call you that you wish. Let they call you a whore, an homosexual. Let they call you that. If that's who you are, establish it as a person. And when I said establish, I mean come to terms with it and say, okay, why do they call me this? Is there something that I am not seeing? Make peace. Because if you don't make peace, the enemy will use shame on you and he will win. You will always try to prove. And as in this warfare, as human, we cannot fight nothing. The Bible said all you're called to do is to stand. So my rant to you is to simply say this. Sticks and stone, they do hurt, but word can completely annihilate and destroy. If you praise God, do not condemn man. But if you condemn man, do it from a righteous standing that you were not a part of such sin. Because you cannot have a mouth that praise God and curse man at the same time. If your mouth was created to praise, uplift, and empower, but do not destroy. This is just my little ranting to let you understand how the powerful our words are, even though many of us take it for granted. Because the first distortion that took place in the universe was the battle of words. And when those words were being uttered, they were creative words and they were deadly. Universe were destroyed because of them. Alright? So have yourself a good day and speak love. Let your word have season to it and bless someone. Have a good one.